and shit like that, like, but no titties.
Just 48 hours before his death, YNW sack chaser supposedly struck Melly's gold tooth out of his mouth. Fast forward years later, and YNW Portland, the driver present during that fatal incident, accepted a plea deal after claiming in his lyrics that he'd never snitch. In this piece, we're diving deep into the murders, double crosses, supposed admissions, and music business connections surrounding YNW Melly's most dangerous crew members. Let's kick things off by discussing the individual many believe was the true brains behind the YNW operation: Anthony Williams, known worldwide as YNW sack chaser. Born in 1997, sack chaser held the title of eldest among the primary YNW squad. Right from the start, this dude was all about handling business. He wasn't merely an artist, he was a founding member and self-identified creator of YNW, managing operational matters like marketing and publicity. If you really break it down, every thriving hip-hop group requires that one individual who manages everything behind the curtain, and sack chaser filled that position. However, this is where things become complicated, y'all. Based on legal filings, sack chaser wasn't solely focused on uplifting vibes. Authorities claimed he was recognized for a forceful leadership approach, including supposed blackmail through text requesting portions of Melly's income. Messages disclosed during court proceedings revealed a picture of growing friction between him and Melly. One message from August 2018, merely 2 months before everything collapsed, showed sack chaser threatening Melly, saying before he'd allow something to happen to him or mess with his people, everyone would get killed. That's not the type of text you drop to your friend, unless there's major conflict building underneath. And it gets even wilder. Only 48 hours before the fatal shooting, sack chaser supposedly punched Melly's gold tooth out during an altercation witnessed by Melly's girlfriend, based on statements from Juvie's dad. Consider that for a moment. 48 hours before this individual loses his existence, he's fighting with the person who'd eventually face accusations of being the shooter. On October 26, 2018, everything reached its breaking point following their departure from a Fort Lauderdale music studio. Sack chaser and Juvie were discovered suffering from numerous bullet injuries at Memorial Regional Hospital in Miramar, Florida, after Portland transported them there around 4:35 in the morning. Sack chaser sustained 8 gunshot wounds, 4 to his skull, 3 to his spine area, and 1 to his limb. The original narrative claimed they got hit in a random drive-by attack. Melly actually posted on Instagram the following day with memorial messages, saying they snatched his brothers away from him because of Andy. But forensic analysis would eventually reveal a totally different truth. Detective Christopher Williams, who'd completed more than 50 yearly ballistic examinations, concluded that the gunfire originated from within the car, not from outside. The drive-by theory was completely debunked. Presently, sack chaser's influence continues through the tracks he created and through the civil lawsuit his family filed against Melly, pursuing compensation connected to the YNW brand's worth. His mom, Jana, delivered heartfelt testimony during proceedings, stating her child was simply a kid chasing dreams, not trouble. Now, let's discuss Christopher Thomas Jr., eternally remembered as YNW Juvie, the youngest among the founding members, and reportedly one of the most devoted brothers in the YNW circle. Born November 20th, 1998 in Gifford, Florida, Juvie was raised in that same close-knit, financially struggling area that produced the entire YNW collective. This was a community where chances were scarce, where the street life screamed louder than any school advisor possibly could, and where hip-hop represented the sole escape from financial hardship. Juvie wasn't merely a side member of YNW. He was a co-creator and one of the founding contributors to the collective's signature sound. His tracks, including songs like Tissue and collaborations such as Young'uns with YNW Melly, displayed that unfiltered street-focused trap style that was placing South Florida on the chart. When you hear his verse on Young'uns, you can sense the hunger and feel the drive. We them young'uns, we gonna make it out the mud. What makes Juvie's situation even more heartbreaking is his family tied to the situation. Jay Green, another ex-YNW member who we'll explore later, was Juvie's cousin. So, when everything went sideways, it wasn't just about the music scene losing talent, it was about families getting ripped apart from within. On that tragic night in October 2018, Juvie was found with multiple gunshot wounds, 4 to his back, 1 to his head, and 1 to his arm. According to the prosecution's version of events, he was shot while possibly sleeping in the back passenger seat of that Jeep Compass.
This resting angle in this seat, you have the projectile coming in, exiting through the top of the skull.
The forensic specialist's statements were devastating. The bullet paths and blood spray patterns painted a picture the defense couldn't dismiss. Juvie's dad, Christopher Thomas Sr., became one of the loudest voices demanding accountability, launching a civil suit in 2021 asserting the killings resulted from greed surrounding a proposed $5 million worldwide branding agreement for YNW, where Juvie was set to receive $100,000. According to him, Melly didn't even show up to the memorial services, something he views as obvious proof of culpability. To this day, Juvie's tracks continue streaming. Songs like Tissue have accumulated millions of listens, and his chorus, "Wipe Your Tears, We Gonna Make It," resonates differently now, realizing he never witnessed those aspirations come true. He was merely 19 years old, barely past graduation, and his loved ones have been waiting over 6 years for resolution that remains upset. Yo, if there's one individual igniting social media lately, it's YNW Portland government named Cortland Malik Henry. This dude went from potentially facing 3 consecutive life terms to exiting the courthouse grinning. Born January 24th, 1999 in Gifford, Florida, Portland was raised in that identical setting that created the remainder of the YNW squad. He wasn't the public figure like Melly, but he was crucial to the group, dropping tracks like Came From and Been Through, which gathered over 2.9 million YouTube views. While under house confinement, on that evening in October 2018, Bortland was behind the wheel of a Jeep Compass. Following the shootings, he drove to the medical facility, claiming his companions had been struck in a random shooting. Authorities claimed he assisted in fabricating the scenario by cruising around with the deceased for roughly 45 minutes, providing Melly opportunity to discharge extra rounds from the exterior to create the appearance of an outside assault. For years, Bortland stuck to his story alongside Melly. He even dropped a freestyle from behind bars stating he'd never accept an agreement. That damages his reputation. That freestyle didn't age well because on September 9, 2025, just 24 hours before court proceedings were scheduled, he took a plea arrangement. He entered a no-contest plea to being an accessory following first-degree homicide and plotting to interfere with a witness, receiving 10 years imprisonment with credit for duration completed plus 6 years supervised release. The response online was instant. Some labeled it intelligent, others branded it pure cooperation. His legal representative strongly rejected any collaboration against Melly, declaring Cortland Henry isn't an informant and won't be providing testimony. But as part of the arrangement, Bortland consented to a proffer which mandates honest declarations to authorities regarding the situation. As of December 2025, he's locked up at South Florida Reception Center with anticipated discharge around January 2032. Now, let's discuss Jay Green. Born Jalen Armand Green on January 25, 1999 in Wabasso, Florida, Jay Green was present from the inception, a co-creator of YNW Collective in 2016 together with Melly, Sackchaser, and his relative Juvie. That's correct. Juvie was his blood family member, rendering this entire ordeal even more intimate. His musical collection showed genuine potential, with songs like Rugged accumulating over 15 million Spotify listens. But here's what distinguishes Jay Green. He identified when circumstances were deteriorating and executed the choice to create distance. He departed the group around 2018 to 2019 because of personal disagreements, mentioning problems with arrogance inside the crew. When questioned about his response to the murder accusations, Jay Green remained authentic, stating he was shocked and has no clarification. Jay Green's identity did emerge during 2020 for court preparation and messages from gang participants that referenced him with artists like Young Thug and French Montana, but authorities explained there was no suggestion of participation. Currently, Jay Green functions independently under 510 Music Group, his personal record company established in 2020. He's concentrated on his craft while managing the intricate inheritance of being a surviving YNW participant who lost his relative, Juvie, to this catastrophe. Every occasion we discuss YNW Melly's circumstances, we need to recognize his younger sibling, YNW Slime, born Jamal Demons Jr. on April 10, 2007. Slime is currently 18 and has been managing the challenging reality of having your older brother confronting capital punishment while attempting to construct your own musical profession. His entrance into music occurred early, starting to record at age 11, and songs like Baby Slime Freestyle have surpassed 10 million YouTube views. His most impactful musical declaration arrived shortly following his brother's detention. A song titled Free Melly YNW Melly Tribute dropped in August 2019. Here's what's crucial to grasp. There is absolutely no proof or accusations connecting Slime to any illegal conduct. He was 11 years old when the killings happened and was in Gifford, nowhere close to the occurrence. That hasn't prevented authorities from potentially attempting to utilize his memorial songs as proof in a capital punishment situation against his sibling. Slime has been outspoken about his backing for Melly, and at 18 years old encounters the distinctive obstacle of constructing his personal identity while being perpetually linked to his brother's situation. Now, we need to examine the wider context, because the YNW situation links to a broader trend throughout hip-hop, especially the YSL Rico situation involving Young Thug in Atlanta. Both situations involve hip-hop groups that authorities claim are truly illegal street organizations, functioning under the pretense of record companies. Both involve utilizing hip-hop verses as proof in legal proceedings, something opponents label biased against black musicians. What links this to YNW Melly specifically is Detective Danny Polo, who testified as a gang specialist in Melly's proceedings. Throughout the 2023 proceedings, Polo testified regarding Melly's supposed gang connections, displaying 2018 altercation recording from Atlantic Record Studios, where YNW's team clashed with NBA YoungBoy's group roughly 2 months prior to the killings. He examined hundreds of images from Melly's device displaying G-Shine blood symbols, and disclosed messages where Melly corresponded with artists like Young Thug and French Montana. The verses as proof discussion is essential here. In Melly's situation, authorities attempted to utilize 55 tracks with aggressive verses as proof of gang conduct and awareness of culpability. His popular track Murder on My Mind turned into Exhibit A for individuals contending Melly self-incriminated through his craft. California has approved regulation restricting verses as proof unless straightforwardly relevant, and New York proceeded with comparable safeguards. But in Florida, where Melly confronts proceedings, no such safeguards exist. You can't discuss YNW Melly's experience without mentioning Kodak Black, the Pompano Beach icon who embodies Florida hip-hop unity. The two Florida artists worked together on Thugged Out in 2021, showcasing Kodak performing Free Melly. Kodak's personal judicial difficulties created similarities with Melly's circumstances, with national firearms accusations resulting in 46 months in detention, eventually reduced by a Trump pardon in January 2021. The Florida hip-hop community is closely connected, and and as Melly's new trial approaches in 2027, Kodak's back and stays steady, and ultimately, the individual at the middle of this complete experience. Jamal Maury's Demons, more famously recognized as YNW Melly, born May 1, 1999 in Gifford, Florida. Melly was brought up by a single mom who delivered him when she was merely 14 years old. His judicial difficulties commenced young. Detained at age 16 for discharging rounds at 3 pupils, resulting in roughly a year in youth imprisonment, where he started creating tracks seriously. His breakthrough arrived with Murder on My Mind, captured in detention in 2017, reaching position 14 on the Billboard Hot 100. The contradiction was not missed when under 2 years afterward, Melly was accused of executing precisely what the track portrayed. On February 13, 2019, Melly surrendered himself to authorities and has stayed in imprisonment ever since, over 2,000 for 100 days, without judgment as of late 2025. The prosecution's situation depends on scientific proof demonstrating rounds originated from within the car, together with supposed digital admissions, including an Instagram message displaying Melly replying, "Quiet, I executed that," weighing question about the killings. His initial proceedings concluded in a mistrial in July 2023, with the panel stuck 9-3. The new trial has been postponed until January 2027, signifying Melly will have completed over 8 years in imprisonment before obtaining another opportunity at liberty. If judged guilty, Melly confronts life imprisonment or capital punishment. Regardless of everything, his craft keeps streaming, with Murder on My Mind having over 1 billion listens, and the enormous Free Melly campaign staying outspoken on social platforms.